to the world. Subscribe now to the Hot 97 YouTube channel. It's Ebro in the Morning with Laura Stiles and Rosenberg.
Ebro in the Morning, Laura Stiles, Rosenberg, our friend, our guy.
Yep.
DC native.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Talk
Maryland's
about it.
home. Give it up, IDK.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So do I say DC and Maryland for you?
Well, I mean, I ran around D.C. a little bit, but I'm a PG Maryland guy.
It's really PG
Like,
County.
PG
If you want to be specific.
if you want to be specific. Like, I got people in D.C. all day long, but PG Maryland for sure.
Your last project, Simple, Amazing, K Tronada produced. This time you come back around F65. What's that? What's the F65?
Is that Formula One talk? What's going on?
Yeah. It's just basically taking a concept of like racing, motorsport racing, and then using it as a canvas to paint this picture about race, like racial equality. But the whole idea is it's supposed to feel good, you know? Like the concept of the album is everything's supposed to feel good, even if the conversation normally wouldn't be a feel-good combo.
So you're getting people into conversations by entrancing them with feel-good melodies, vibrations, and beats, but you're having real conversations intermixed.
Yeah, it's like I realized like I got, you know, my fan base is like 50% white, 50% black, or 60% probably even white. And my idea is like, yo, these are people that's listening to the music. Why not give them something for them to really understand what it feels like, but try my best to not make it feel like they're being attacked, you know what I mean? Because I feel like for years it's always been like anger and, you know, a certain way we assert ourselves when it comes to that subject. So I was like, let me try something new, you know?
Yeah, no, it's sensitive. We get charged up.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
exactly.
People are charged up when you black and you talking about race, for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
What's the record we like? Pinot Noir.
Yeah,
Which we love.
That Pinot
which is
Noir
an
is
actual
fire.
single too, right?
Yeah.
Bro, it's so fire.
Yeah.
It's just
I'm
it
glad
just
you
feels
like
good. I never thought I would. I was like, break it dawn, and then my neck, my back. I was like, wow.
Well, I saw you
I
describe
never thought
it-
it would be together.
And you described it on. I saw you post about it and talk about it like musical gumbo.
Yeah.
Because it really
yeah.
is. You're just throwing a whole bunch of stuff at the
Yes.
wall that you might not think would
Go together.
ingredients that would make something delicious.
and it works. And
But
it's
it's somehow
But
amazing.
that's so hip
delicious.
hop though.
Yeah.
So if you go
Yeah.
back to the Bomb Squad, you listen to Public Enemy productions
Yeah.
or even early Dre productions.
Yo, you know
You
what?
know how many samples they had
No,
going
it's
through
a
there?
ton.
And then you know what it is too. A lot of people be scared of the samples. And back in those like the 90s, they used to use multiple samples on one song. And I was just like, man, you know, that's when I first learned how to use the MPC. That was like literally one of the first beats that I chopped up. And it just was like, you know, taking like all of these different things. I probably have like 2% on that song. Like I have no publishing on that song. So
Yeah, of course not.
Every
Not
time
with
y'all
those samples.
every time y'all spit it, like other people getting paid.
Because the Break of Dawn samples really Smokey Robinson.
Yeah, and that's the one who
They
wasn't
flipped
playing.
the
That was the
Smokey
one who wasn't
Robinson. That's
playing?
the one they hit you. They hit you.
Yeah, shout out to Smokey. I'm glad he at least cleared it, but yeah, he wasn't playing.
Right. Now, did you know you wanted to put Saucy Santana on it?
When I first heard the beat, yeah, it just felt like that was the right person. Obviously, in my mind, like it literally came to my mind. I actually hit you.
I know. He hit
I'm
me.
like, because I'm like, who does he follow that I know? And then I seen you followed him, and he followed you back.
By the way, I didn't know. No, he followed me, bro, and I didn't know. This, by the way, I blame you because you're smarter than me, and you should have been like, bro, he follows you, hit him, because you go, yo, can you link me with Saucy Santana? And I was like, why? Because he was at Summer Jam Festival. Like, I don't know Saucy Santana. I like him, but I don't know. And then I was like, oh, let me see. And of course, I flaked. I was like, I don't even know what to do.
Yeah.
And then I just look up, and you got him.
done. Yeah,
so
yeah,
how'd
yeah.
you end up getting him?
I shot him a DM. He didn't respond, and then shout out to Steve-O at the label. He was like actually reached out to I think Jay Grand, and then Jay Grand put it together, and then Juicy Fruit was already on the song and knew him, so I was like, yo, could you connect us on text? And then yeah,
And he was with it.
yeah, he did 2 verses, both of them. The first verse was like, I think he could go a little harder, and he went harder. So
So here's my question. Here's the question I want to ask. Has there ever been a song that feels like a, you know, how do I describe this? A quote chick record, right? Like a record that you're making for women, and it's got like sexual innuendo and those things. But you also have a dude rapping on that record too.
yeah.
Like a gay artist rapping on a record about the, I don't know
To
if
be
that's
honest,
been done.
I might be the first, at least I know, black rapper to break that stigma and then take somebody who's openly gay and then put them on my song. Now, I think it's happened the other way around.
Got it.
But to put them on my song, that's definitely breaking boundaries.
Well, yeah, I think it's the openly part.
Yeah, it's the openly part for
It's
sure.
the openly part.
Yeah, that's
It's
the part.
And I guess flamboyant would be the word too, because
Yeah.
that's the
I
other
guess it's
part.
on
Because
the
it's
part,
like
yeah.
there's I'm sure there's like people like that. You can't really tell if they're gay or not. They may have been openly gay, but you don't know it when you see the video. And for a lot of people where I'm from, that kind of makes certain people uncomfortable to see
That's
that.
not just where you're from. That's where everybody's from.
Yeah.
That's not.
Well, he lives in
specific to a
LA now,
locality.
so it feels more common. But you're right.
Yeah.
Most of America is
The
still-
world.
Yeah, most of the world.
Right. Remember when we had Cakes to Kill It up here? Everyone's like, oh, they just couldn't believe that he was,
I was
so
like, yo,
openly
dude, be
gay.
rapping though. I don't care what.
And he's fire.
I don't care what goes on in your
Yeah,
bedroom. You get
yeah.
to these bars, let's
No,
do
but-
it.
It's just
That's
over.
basically what it was.
Yeah,
And-
now Saucy's fire on the record
Saucy
too.
is so fire.
And I think it was just the right fit. And I always tell, like, a couple rappers hit me up like, why did you do that? I ain't gonna say no names, but I was like, look, this song ain't for you.
Right.
And why
I didn't
not?
make this for you. You know what I mean? This is for a different group of people.
Right. If you don't
And
get it,
man, why is it not for you?
I mean,
That's what I'm saying.
because he obviously didn't feel comfortable about it. So
Right.
it
Well, no,
wasn't
I
for
get
him.
it, but I'm just saying when you listen to the song, there's nothing going on the song that you haven't heard before, no matter what the person's orientation is.
Trust me, that's exactly how
You know
I
what I'm
see
saying?
it.
Like it's
But-
people are really
Homophobic.
yeah, homophobic. I was just gonna say stupid in many different ways. Homophobia, obviously,
But it's still, you know what? But while we're saying this part, which is all true and worth pointing out, we also should point out the progress of being in a time where, but you made the record's out, people are gonna mess with it. Like I remember,
It's the top streaming record on the album right now.
it's also moving. Like there was a time when it would have had backlash. There's been no backlash, has there?
A little bit, but not like nothing serious. Like nothing to be like, people
Just
say
random
stuff.
tweets and people saying whatever they're gonna
Yeah,
say.
a couple, and then some other artists actually literally reached out to me about it. But
Now
it was what
IDK
it
has a
was.
very funny. So IDK will do things, and I will see it on his social media and literally not know what he's talking about. Like he's operating on in a fashion sense and in a business sense. I'm just like, what is that? So the latest one today that I didn't understand what it was because I'm not hip. What did I see about you and records and brand? Dries, tell me about this.
What's Dries?
Dries Van Noten.
Dries Van Noten. I just curated the records in their store and basically, put the albums that I felt like were important for them to have. They let me do that. I think I'm like the first rapper to do that for them. I'm not 100% sure, but I think I may be. They usually, I don't want to say conservative, but they usually don't
Traditional?
Traditional is a good word, yeah.
in
They're
their
really
in their
traditional.
high fashion.
They're Euro high
Yeah,
fashion.
they're more on. They really They really mess with art. Art is like their main thing. Obviously, rap is art, and they're now venturing off into music and art a lot more.
And the selections you chose, by the way, are very telling of who you are as an artist. Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, Baduism, Stevie, Music of My Mind. Three of your albums, Miles Davis, Juvenile, Lil Wayne, Raekwon, Marvin, Gorillaz, SZA, all very kind of who make you you.
Yeah.
How do you get into those rooms though? That's something that's always impressed me about you. You got into the game. You wanted to be down with certain brands. You wanted to teach at Harvard. You did that. You wanted to have a Nike relationship. You've done that.
Yeah.
How do you get yourself in these rooms?
If I'm being quite honest with you, especially in the fashion rooms, it's just organic. Like I just, Kim Jones, he's the creative director at Dior. He followed me because I did the cover of ID magazine, and then we didn't really DM until I got like a Maybach, and he was like, "Welcome to the family," and then we became friends. So it was
Do
like,
you have a Maybach?
yes.
Oh,
I
we're
got
gonna
this.
get
is
to
my
that,
this is
too.
my second one now, but
We gotta
yeah.
get to this
Wait,
money
is
this
it-
guy's bringing.
That's very nice.
yeah. But so that's how it's really organic. Naturally from where I'm from, the DC area, Maryland, PG, DC, we all known for dressing pretty good. You know what I'm saying? So I think that natural ability to do that from where I'm from, plus the education of understanding some of these brands, kind of put me on a lot of people's radar. But it's really like organic though.
You've also generally figured out a real, like, we talk a lot about how people are successful in this version of streaming music in ways that they didn't used to be.
Yeah.
And there's a middle class of rappers where you don't have to have the biggest songs and make the most money.
Yeah.
You're in like another space. You're in like another one. You're like in the upper middle class of rappers, right? Like, like you've really managed to do well and find your base. And we were saying today, like I just said to Ebro, I was like, man, when's radio really going to embrace IDK? Like this Pinot Noir record's great.
Yeah.
You haven't had that sort of mainstream
No.
embracing.
I haven't even had a gold record. I'm close, but I haven't had a gold record yet.
But why is that important?
But no, what I'm asking is though, but how did you manage to turn that into being someone who lives the kind of life that you do?
Oh.
Like it's not like you can't afford your Maybach. Like you are living a life you can afford to live.
It's so funny to me. It's so easy and it makes so much sense. And I think about a lot of rappers. I'm like, I know they make way more money than me. How come they don't own a house? I'm on my third property right now, you know? I don't really know if it's like about the money as much as it is what you're spending your money on. Like this chain, I had this chain since 2020, and this is the only chain that I got. But I got like, houses. I got lots of assets. I bought a tour bus last year,
Right.
There's a bunch
Invest
of
in
different
yourself.
things. Yeah. Like anything that I'm going to use or make money off of, I just buy. I don't like to rent nothing. I spend all my liquid cash on assets.
Yep.
And that's like literally my like gamble. I like kind of gamble with that because, anything could happen. But anytime I have cash, I feel like I got to spend it on like studio equipment or something
Something that
tangible.
can lead to more later.
I just can't like sit on cash. I just don't like sitting
That's
on
probably
cash.
smart.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. You don't need a radio hit when you're doing smart things with your money.
And that's what I was trying to get to.
There you go.
But
Well,
then
and
imagine.
by the way, you can have a radio hit and be dumb, dead, doo-doo broke based on
right.
whatever your deal is. Because the other side of that is you've been an independent artist
Yeah,
for a
well-
long time. And the deals that you've done have kind of been on your terms in some
Yeah, of course. Yeah. No, I did. Before I signed the deal with Warner, I made like $500,000 a year, like myself. You know what I'm saying? So it was just being smart on that end first and foremost, and then I came to them with a finished album. So it's kind of like a movie. You come with a finished movie, you get a certain type of deal, as opposed to trying to get them to give you the
To
money
buy
to
the
do it.
dream and pay for it.
Right.
Right.
Well, I think that's a good jewel for people. I think the other thing people got to know too is you tour.
Yeah.
And you have relationships, right? And you
Yeah,
invest.
yeah.
So you take the invest in yourself part. You take the fact that you are not afraid to walk in rooms and keep relationships and talk to people and meet people and learn new things. Add in the fact that you actually care about craftsmanship of music, because that's another part of this, right? You're not just making trend. Like your last
true,
project
yeah.
was you and K Trinata.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
this project is you doing work with people that clearly aren't commonplace. Like
Right.
you're willing to venture out for the sake of creativity, music, and the conversation. So you add all that together, I'm not surprised you have a Maybach. Right? Because
Yeah.
most people are afraid to do what you're doing because they would rather just make records that sound like everyone else.
Yeah.
And hopefully they get a deal and hopefully they get on the radio, and then they're mad when they don't because they're like, look, I'm making the same record that the last 20 people made. Well, that's why you're failing. It's because you're not doing anything unique. You're not bringing anything new to the game, and you're definitely not managing your expenses in your life in a way that's going to be to your
Beneficial, yeah.
to your own self-improvement.
I think, but can I just be real? And I hate not to be like this, but really also like your heart just got to be in the right place. Like I think your intention and what you do. I think a lot of what I get is because of the intention behind it. It's never been about money. I didn't even know I was making money when I started making money. I just looked up in my bank account one day. I was like, I don't got to live in my mom's house no more. I should probably get an apartment or something, So it's just like my intent behind all of this stuff and what I stand for and what I'm doing. IDK, by the way, stands for ignorantly delivering knowledge. Like all of that is like really who I am, and why I do what I do is because of those things. So I think that's also why things work out for me.
Well, there's another piece too. I've had the pleasure of walking around. We were in Simple City together for your last album.
Yeah.
We had a convo on Apple Music, and shout out to that whole community over there for showing love.
Yes.
But there's another piece that I learned about you is the fact that you are unafraid to move around the globe because of how you came up. Right? And you told me like moving from DC out to the suburbs and growing up in predominantly white areas and then getting in trouble and having to like, that high school life you lived of trying to find your place in the world, I think shaped you in a way that not everybody gets to
see. Right. So, well, I actually grew up in PG County.
There you go, PG
But
County.
the thing about PG County is it actually wasn't. It was middle class, but it wasn't white people. It was black people because PG County is like, I guess it's one of the wealthiest.
It's
black,
the most affluent black suburb in the country,
in
but
the
it doesn't
country.
feel affluent throughout PG County.
Yeah. It depends on
Depends
where
where
you
you are.
But if you go to a public school, most likely the school is going to be terrible.
That is mostly the case.
And that's kind of what it was. So
What school did you go to again?
I went to a lot of schools. I went to Duval,
Yeah.
Bowie, and Largo, and then I went to like boarding school in Kentucky.
Yeah,
but
it
that's
ain't
another
sweet
story.
at any of those schools.
Yeah. So it's really like growing up around black people, but in a middle class neighborhood, but then going to the hood to go to school. You know what I mean? And then mixing and mingling with those people. So.
and you got to see many different lifestyles with that.
Yeah, exactly. I think throughout my life, because I was in prison. I've been in jail and prison 4 times. My last time I was in prison was 2012. I went to state prison and I did time. And I was there with people who had 20 years. There's people that may have had life and gave their time back and maybe only got like 15 years left, whatever the case may be. One of my peoples, he's on my album, but I talk to him all the time. He was there 8 years before I got locked up. And when I met him in there, and he's been there since. So I got out 2012, and he's still there. And he got out for a little bit and went right back in. He's still there, and he still got like 5 years left. And I talk to him constantly, like all the time. So I'm in touch with a lot of different types of people. I was just watching the little bit of the Tupac documentary.
Love it.
And
So
they were
good.
talking about how like he could go in this room and talk with these people and go in this room, and it's real, every single room. That's kind of, I was like getting chills because that's really like who I am.
And that's helped you get how far you've gotten.
Yeah, for sure.
How did you end up in prison?
When I was 17, I got hit with a robbery with deadly weapon. I was just, honestly, I was just trying to be cool. Like, that's what it was. I was trying to, like...
Which you talk
act
about,
like-
and you talk about this on one of your records, too.
Yeah, I was trying to act like something that I wasn't in terms of how I grew up. But I wanted to prove myself to people so bad that I was willing to do worse things than some of the people around me. And it caught up with me at 17. But I never got in trouble again. But the way that it works is basically violations, probation, home detention, all of these things. You mess up just a little bit in there, you right back
You're
in.
right back.
So I went back. I literally went to jail and prison 4 times for the same charge. Yeah.
And that must be the worst when you're out and you're like, I'm never doing that again. And then
then
you're like,
boom.
yep, you're back.
Oh, you came home late too many times? All right, cool, go back. It's
You
like
hang
stuff
around.
like
You
that.
hang around these gang affiliated people.
Go back.
Done.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy. Or you didn't pay your home detention, your private home detention, your $300 a month. I'm in school trying to figure out school. I'm literally working at that time Best Buy. Like I'm like trying to do whatever I can to stay out. And it's like, nah, you're not paying every month. Like I'm like, doing the best I can, but it just
Has
it
your
didn't work
record
out.
been expunged?
Nah, I'm trying to get it pardoned. I can't even get it expunged. I have to get it pardoned. So we're working on that now, though.
So when you see what Ja Morant's going through at 23 years old, right? Or you see some of the, artists getting in trouble doing who knows what. Like everybody's mental state is different. Everybody's circumstances are different.
Yeah.
But how does that strike you as somebody who's tried to stay out of trouble and is getting some success now? And how old are you now?
I'm 30 now. Man, Ja Morant wilding, bro. That's the first thing I thought. I was like, whoa, what is it doing? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I couldn't believe what I saw. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I'm like, yo, this was like 3 weeks ago, bro. I can't speak on that. That's a new Guinness World Record type of, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I don't even know what to say about that one. But I just kind of look at it
I guess
like,
the reason I brought it up is because you admitted that you were trying to be something that you're not. And so
Right.
it made me think of Ja Morant because then I don't know the man, but the internet makes it sound like he comes from good home, good family, right? You've had all the opportunities because of your athletic ability. You are worth, I don't know what's his contract worth, $220 million. And here you are,
With
flashing
that
guns
thing
like,
on you.
well, and it's almost like you're doing. Most people do what Ja Morant's doing because they want to get clout.
Yeah.
They want to be accepted. You're Ja Morant.
No, and then let me tell you.
So like the mentality of that just doesn't register.
I'm gonna just say this, like personally, I don't understand it because you can always have security. You can always have people that have that. You don't never have to really have that on you. So I really am confused about it. I don't know him, so I would love to hear the real like way he's looking at it. You know what I'm saying? To really speak on it, but. It's from the outside looking at it look crazy. You know what I mean?
Well, it just looks like simply fun to do bad things. I just want to see if I'm gonna get in trouble. I want to see how much.
But that wasn't his. That was his man. His man, because he did.
His man tried to put the phone
He
down.
tried to put it down quick. He got a little too happy with it. What was that? Like someone was screen recording his friend online.
Yeah, that's a good question because he must have been on his friend's live.
Yeah, I believe his friend was on live when you realized.
Well, at this point, there's someone following all of his people. I'm sure people are keeping an eye on it to see what the next thing is.
Well, now because people love the downfall. That's the other part. Society loves the downfall. If you want to be the one that they get to tear down and make an example of, everybody's gonna gather around and watch and see what happens.
But then they'll love your comeback too.
They love the comeback.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I was shocked when I saw that. I couldn't even believe he. That's what he was
Well, but
going
you're a
about.
great example. You messed up, crossed the line, dealt with the repercussions, and literally changed who you were.
For sure, but to be fair, I came from a place where I had perspective of the right way to do it because that's how I was raised.
Right.
You were going against the way you were raised.
Exactly.
When you
So
did that, right?
so when I got locked up and I'm like, oh, whoa, I don't like this. Never mind, let me go back to the side that I really am supposed to be on.
Right.
A lot of people don't have that opportunity to be able to do that because all they know is this one
Dysfunction
thing.
and toxicity.
I was talking to a state's attorney about that back home. I'm like, yo, how can a judge judge you when they don't come from what you come from? How can you judge somebody not knowing the circumstances or understanding them? They shouldn't, in my mind, like you shouldn't get the same sentence as someone from maybe even my background who knew better. You know what I'm saying? If you were born into this, that's all you see around you. Like what do you expect to happen?
And we mistakenly say,
but without glossing over that, but that's the whole entrapment of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Is the circumstances that are presented to individuals who and are born into poverty or toxic environments. They were made that way because of societal governmental decisions. You know what I mean? It's just not happenstance that factions of our society have been preyed upon. That's just not by mistake.
That's facts.
There is a financial economic model tied to people going to jail,
Of course.
and staying incarcerated. So you can't even.
well, so why would they want to judge them fairly when the point is for them to go to jail?
Right,
But I was
right.
going to say another thing we can't miss. We've fallen into this trap. We can't keep saying that we know he came from a good family because they may have had money and he was able to go to private school. That doesn't mean you came from a good family. No disrespect.
That's right.
But I saw
somebody-
his mom on the plane with him while he's sitting there downing tequila. I don't know. It may not be a great home.
Right.
Right.
And they say that his parent or his mom was the one that called him from the Foot Locker and told him to
I
come.
got a problem here. Come fix it for me. Like, so maybe we associate having money or a good neighborhood with
Or a
means you're
good
from a good
school,
family
right.
or a good school.
Right.
Maybe we're wrong.
Exactly,
That's super
and that's the thing. At the end of the day, bro, what Jay-Z said on Story of OJ, still,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like that hit. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes that hits when I'm dealing with some of this fashion stuff. I'm like, oh wait, hold on, or just other let's just say corporate companies and corporations or whatever. I feel like, oh, okay. Someone brought up my record. I won't say the company's name, but they brought up my record and said, oh, you have a record, and you're cursing on your music and that. I'm like, but y'all signed this person and this and that. Like, can you bring up, they're associating what I did with my music and trying to say that's who I am now.
That's right. But that
crazy.
happens so all the time where you have people who haven't gotten in trouble in 10 or 15 years. Can't rent an apartment. Can't coach their kids' baseball team. Can't, you know what I mean? Can't do certain things in society just because of something that they did a long time ago. And so, that's the way. Listen, I'm not saying it's right.
Yeah.
I'm saying That's what it is.
But you're saying also they might be associated with someone else who's not black, and they're looking past the things that have happened.
Exactly, because
But you're black though. That's what I'm saying. I'm telling you that it is. What we're saying is it's wrong.
Yeah,
Right.
100%.
But that's what it is.
And it's
But we
real.
also got to acknowledge that's what it is. And the sooner people just get to acknowledging that's what it is, I think the faster we can call people out and hopefully work towards fixing it.
Of course.
The more we try to gloss over it and ask these like esoteric questions about like, well, how could you? Well, because it's racism.
Yeah,
And white
yeah.
supremacy. That's how.
I know exactly what you're saying.
You know
And
what I'm saying?
that's kind of how I look at it too. That's why even like this album is like what it is, because it's like, let's sit down and have the real conversation without feeling offended. Try to like understand it, because when I can see your perspective, then now that I see your perspective, I can at least have an opportunity to change. I understand the whispers behind my back when you tell me what those whispers are to my face.
Right.
And if I don't know the whispers, I don't know how to adjust and change. And that's the thing about a lot of people. We get offended by certain things. That's why comedy is so powerful and important. That's why people like, even like Dave Chappelle, even though he gets backlash, he is so important because he takes the whispers that you hear and puts it in front of everybody. Now you at least have an opportunity to say, oh, this is what people think about me? Okay, I don't want to change nothing. This is what it is. Or I can adjust my strategy to make the change that needs to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why conversation.
Even if you don't like even if you don't like what's being said,
Yeah.
at least you're hearing what's being said.
Yeah, because then at least you know. But it's the problem with us as people. We all are afraid to look in the mirror. That's like really a problem for all of us. We
Yeah, that's
don't
a human.
like to
That's a
look in the
human
mirror.
issue.
Yeah. So-
You have a song on the album with Tay Iwar called Elmina,
Yeah,
which I'm
Elmina.
assuming is about the Elmina slave dungeons.
Yes. Cape Coast.
Cape Coast, yeah.
So with Simple, what I did was I named a lot of the songs a bunch of things that I know white people will be like, why would you name your song Dog Food? Not knowing that means, heroin. You know what I mean? Like, it's like I'm trying to find ways to, because I know I have a fan base that's going to go on Genius and really look at the lyrics and stuff like that. So I'm like, Elmina sounds like a beautiful woman's name or something, right? But then when you search it and you really understand what it is, now you got history,
Right.
That's how I like to deliver things in my
Yeah,
art.
because you have another one called Middle Passage with Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
St. Nicholas and 118th. Is that about Uptown? Is that
Yeah,
New York
yeah,
City?
yeah.
What happened on St. Nick and 118th?
My boy Ray Rizzy, he actually put me on to it because we were going to do something jazz related, and he just let me know, how important that was in the jazz era, and how and I was like, yo, I'm gonna name one of my songs this. Literally, it was just from him explaining that to me.
What else is on? I mean, there's a lot of great. You got Georgetown on here.
Cape Coast, Freetown,
Champs-Élysées.
Champs-Élysées, yeah.
What should we know about that?
Champs-Élysées, so that's like basically a part of Paris,
yeah.
where like
the
all
main
the
strip
great,
where all the shopping
where
is,
all
right?
the shopping is.
Yeah.
It's like when you think about Tyson's Corner, when you think about Georgetown, when you think about where all the Louis Vuitton stores and that, every city has that central area where all the best stores, luxury stores are. That's like the pinnacle.
But that's the one for the world.
That's the
It's
one for the
Champs-Élysées.
world. So it's just basically
Because
me
you get
being.
off Champs-Élysées and you go out to the 19th district and all that.
It's crazy.
Paris is looking very different.
Yeah,
And you go
yeah.
see the real people.
Yeah, exactly. So me basically just talking about it just came from my first experience being there from where I'm from, and it's kind of like it's like a flex, but it's also like me explaining how all of these things that I love and I idolize kind of like dictate the way that I live my life.
Yo,
As a black man.
Going back 2 albums now, what was it like to get that MF Doom feature before he passed, man? I know that was a work. I know that took time.
Man, Doom, the first one he did actually for me was in 2017 through Adult Swim.
Oh, right.
I asked them, I was like, yo, you think I could get a feature from Doom? And they're like, I mean, I don't know. I'll ask, And it was like 2 weeks later, they're like, yo, Doom's asking what's the concept of the song. And then like 2 weeks after that, the verse came in. You know what I'm saying?
You must have been like, what?
I was like shocked.
You were waiting. You thought we were looking at 6 months, a year.
Yeah. So basically, he gave me a pretty long verse, and then I was like, maybe one day I'll use more of this verse. So I had to reach back out to him when I took it and I made the beat for Red and put it through, and then he cleared it again.
So it
And
was
then
just
he
more of the
passed
same.
right after he cleared it.
Wow. Because I remember you'd literally been working on clearing it in the like days before it. That's wild.
Literally, it's like there's a kind of a, I don't want to say conspiracy, but a theory where we're like, what did he clear this after? Like, 'cause
Right.
it was like, if
Oh,
we
because the
looking at the
timeline-
timeline,
right, because we
it
found
said
out after he
passed
died
in
that he died.
October. But
Right.
I'm like, yo, the joint got cleared like October. If it was October 31st, it was like October 28th or something like that.
Right.
And I'm like, yo, that's not what the. You
So
know
it's
what I
the
mean?
same verse separated into two verses because he
Exactly.
gave you that many bars.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
That's
And there's still
dope.
more. I
Wow.
still have more.
And he still went longer than that?
I still have more.
By the way, I'm just going to say something that I don't know if for public consumption, but whatever. You can yell at me after.
Okay.
What about like the random Kanye vocals I know you have on stuff in some way?
No, it's
That's
not
out and
random.
about?
It's a song. It's a song.
And what's up with
88
that?
keys.
With 88. Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
It's just in the stash?
That one is just whatever they want to do with it. That's just. I did the verse. I was like,
So it was for a
ooh.
Kanye record.
I don't know who it would have ended up being for, but it was Kanye was on it and Anderson .Paak was on it. 88 Keys was on it. Yeah.
Where that's at? I need that.
I know.
88, what's going on?
Yeah. Hey man, shoot, who knows?
Listen, what was the record? Somebody used the 88 Keys beat. It was like a 10-year-old beat or something.
Oh, yeah. That,
Oh, Pusha T.
yeah.
That was Pusha
That
T.
beat
but-
was so crazy.
Yeah, it was
man.
crazy.
Oh my god.
88's got a lot, man.
Diet
a lot,
Coke.
bro.
I
Listen,
love that.
Let's
song.
play Juicy Fruit. And y'all give it up one time for our guy IDK, the new album F65. Why did I
Yeah.
say Juicy Fruit? I meant Pinot Noir with
With
Juicy
Juicy
Fruit.
Fruit and Saucy
And
Santana.
And
There you
Saucy
go.
Santana,
There you go.
yeah.
There you go. IDK,
IDK.
thank you, man. Thank you.
Thank you.